Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com, here with Dave's Faves. And the fave I want to talk about is the Fourth Symphony of George Lloyd. Wonderful, wonderful English composer who wrote big, beefy, gorgeous, romantic symphonies when they were hopelessly, totally, completely out of fashion. And the Fourth Symphony is somewhat special. It's subtitled The Arctic. And Lloyd was actually in World War II on a carrier in the Arctic, which was torpedoed by a German either warship or submarine or something or other. It was torpedoed, and he wound up inhaling a ton of crankcase oil, and very, very nearly died. He was as close to death as makes no difference, and it took him literally years to recover. He was terribly wounded and handicapped for quite a long time. His wife nursed him back to health, and he moved to the English countryside and became a mushroom farmer. During that time, he had basically given up composition for a while, and this was the symphony he wrote to rehabilitate himself. And the slow movement illustrates that sense of cool quiet in the Arctic at night with silence all around. It's an incredibly evocative and ultimately moving piece full of unbelievably beautiful melodies. Now, this is a long symphony. I mean, the movements are, 18, 12, 13, and 20. It's a big, long, 65-minute, somewhat repetitive piece. You may have little patience for it. It has all of the flaws of a great romantic symphony in terms of being somewhat loose in structure and rather willing to indulge itself in luscious melodies and atmosphere. But it also has all the advantages. It has the great tunes. It has the voluptuous orchestration. Lloyd's models for his style were Tchaikovsky and Berlioz. Berlioz, especially in the third movement, which is sort of a ballet number. It's a dance number. It's very witty, but very light and incredibly succulent in its orchestration. It's amazing. It's really just a magnificent work. And the finale is a march. A real da 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 dum bum ba da 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 da, and it ends with a Salvation Army tune. Ya ba dum ba da da dum ba da da dum ba da 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 dum ba da 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 bum ba da dum ba da 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 da. I mean, if I can do that, let me put it to you this way. If I can hum this symphony, all of it, and I can, believe me, you don't want to hear it. That's a threat. Then it's got to be a terrific romantic symphony, because I don't have that much ability when it comes to these things. But these tunes stick in your head. They are memorable, and it's just wonderful. And of course, it has a big triumphant ending. Ultimately, it symbolizes the rebirth of his creative life, and it's been recorded twice. Actually, there is an earlier Lyrita recording. Lyrita did 3 Lloyd symphonies. They did 4, 5, and 8. 5 and 8 were fabulous. 4, less so. It was with Edward Downes was the conductor. The reason it was less interesting was not because there was anything wrong with the performance, but very unusually for Lyrita, the sonics were a bit diffuse. And this music needs crystal clear, transparent engineering. And when Lloyd came to conduct it himself with the Albany Symphony, that's what he got. I mean, this is an SACD. It's on Albany Records. It really, really sounds great. And it does wonders for the symphony. It sounds less long. It makes it sound quicker. It perks your ears up. A lot of the romantic defects that I just cited go away when you have wonderful sonics. And Lloyd was a fabulous conductor of his own work. He was not one of those interpreters who played everything sort of quickly and impersonally and just let the music speak for itself. No, he tried to get as much expression as he could out of it. He was true to the aesthetic, to his own aesthetic, and it's marvelous. just marvelous. So give yourself a chance. If you have the Fifth, which I've already done a video about, by the way, go have a look at that video, George Lloyd's Fifth, which is glorious, and in which I arranged and played in the world premiere live concert recording, believe it or not, in New York, just like days after he conducted the premiere. And I believe it was in Bournemouth or in Brighton, in one of those. This is Brighton, one of those places. He asked us to wait to give the performance until after he had been able to do it himself. But that is a flaming masterpiece. This is as close to a masterpiece as Makes No Difference. And the point is, Lloyd had personality and a characteristic style, and everything he wrote sounds like him. And the more you know his work, the more you know what he sounds like, because it's really there. He was the real deal, a composer with real personality. And this Fourth Symphony is just lovely, absolutely lovely, on Albany Records with the Albany Symphony, with George Lloyd himself conducting. You owe it to yourself to hear it, and you will not be sorry that you did. So keep on listening, my friends. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care.